This is the April recap video. I decided that for the summer I would only do videos on track for really big days, big stakes days, highlight days, event days, and so on. So I did not make any videos on the way out there today, but I had a great first month to the summer-spring season. It kicked off on April the 13th. It was a Friday. I had one pick and one pick only. It was a grade one, Apple Blossom. And my pick, odds-on favorite, Plum Pretty.
Plum Pretty is asked the question, chased intently by Absent Minded and Tismiss Sue. They're a furlong from the finish and Plum Pretty's in cruise control. Absent Minded did her best, could not keep up. Tismiss Sue outside of her. Plum Pretty dominating in the Apple Blossom. What a classy filly and a dynamic comeback.
The next day, on Saturday, I headed out to the track, and in the second race that I had a pick in, it was at Keeneland. I like number 7, Francis Gardner, came roaring from off the pace, went off at a juicy 7-1, paid $16.40. The feature race that day was the Grade 1 Bluegrass. I haven't liked Hanson from the get-go. Hanson I thought would have a lot of pressure up front, but instead he was loose on the lead. My horse, Doulahan, was way back at the top of the lane, and then...
By 3, Midnight Crooner is third. Hero of Order has lost ground around the turn. Heavy Breathing moves up the inside to 4th. Hanson a 2-length lead as they come toward the 8th pole. Gung Ho still trying, but still second. Prospective getting shook loose late, so is Doulahan. Doulahan down the center of the racetrack. Hanson in the final furlong. Doulahan charging on the outside. Doulahan, tremendous stretch run. He was 10th with 3 furlongs to go.
Oh yeah, my best bet of the day. Doulahan comes running home, pays $8.40. I get back over $60. A week later, on April the 21st, I was out at the track again, and my first pick that I scored with double digits was at Keeneland, when Mystical Star came home at 4-1 and paid $10.20. But the highlight that day was the Grade 3 San Simeon coming down the hillside. There were several horses that looked to be contenders. I just didn't like any of them. And then I saw the old veteran California Flag, who'd won down the hill in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. One of my favorite horses. He was a horse for the course, and somehow the crowd let him go off at a lovely 5-1 as he turned for home.
At the top of the lane, and California Flag still clear by 3. Saif second, Campari in the second, 8 no other on the far side. Victory Pete down at the rail, and Irish Art grandstand side, homeward bound, and California Flag the leader. California Flag by 2, Campari, Saif are chasing gamely. California Flag digs deep, he finds more. Saif chasing and Campari, but they can't get to California Flag. Another classy win from the veteran.
Oh yeah, got back $13.80 on the payoff, collected nearly $70. That a way to go, California Flag. The next day, Sunday, we were in Orlando to take the kids to see The Lion King. And I had 2 bets. I was able to make them both via my phone on my account in TwinSpires. The first was the Grade 3 Ben Ally, where I liked Wise Dan on the comeback trail.
Ridden along by Javier Castellano, who senses the urgency of the moment because Wise Dan is gone off the far turn with a 7th-length advantage. Big Blue Kitten is second by 4. Eye of the Leopard third, Ceases 4th, and Guy's Reward 5th between horses. It is Wise Dan rolling by the 8th pole. Wise Dan, 8-length advantage back to Big Blue Kitten. He is back, and he is back in style. Wise Dan and John Velasquez to crush the field in the Ben Ally.
Wow, that guy looks like he's going to be a force in the older handicap division. Breeders' Cup Classic, can anybody say that? And then when we got home late that night, I was able to watch the feature race, the closing day feature at Santa Anita. The Grade 2 San Juan Capistrano going 1.5 miles. Again, my pick was a horse for the horse, Bourbon Bay. Hopelessly out of it as they turned for home. He was still well back on the turn. And then...
Harrods Creek and Whitesmith opening up to lead by 5. Hobbs Hollow can find no more. Dharma, Eagle Poise, Bourbon Bay. Here comes Eagle Poise for the red cap now to chase Harrods Creek. Harrods Creek's getting weary. Eagle Poise colours in Bourbon Bay. They come for home. Eagle Poise, Bourbon Bay. Bourbon
Whoa, just up in time. Thursday, April the 26th, I decided to play online after my Florida Panthers. I thought they'd win Game 6 on Tuesday night, but they ended up having to play Game 7 on Thursday night, so I stayed home to play. Right away in the second race, I liked Undrafted at Keeneland in their opener, and he scored at 6-1, 1460. The feature race, a graded stakes on a Thursday, that's unusual, was the Grade 3 Bewitched. It was 1.5 miles on the turf. My horse, Upperline, didn't like to run on the front end, but nobody else wanted it. Ran the 3/4 in like 1:19, just pokey slow. Let two long shots take over the lead, and then as they turned for home, James Graham swung her to the outside.
Side by side, here to win. On the outside is third. Moving down the center of the course, Saynata has the lead. Upperline tries to fight on between horses. Woodford Bell running from far back on the grandstand side. Saynata, Upperline, stride for stride. Woodford Bell coming from third. Upperline had the lead early, gave it up, and comes back to take the Grey Goose Bewitched Stakes.
Nice. Got back almost $30 on that. That night we went to Game 7, fell behind 2-0, and then in a dramatic comeback, Panthers tied it late in the third. Oh, only to lose in double overtime. Crushing blow. But hey, we made the Stanley Cup playoffs, went 7 games. We'll be back next year. We'll go a lot farther. Take my word on it. Saturday, April the 28th, my last day to play the races of the month. I went out to Calder after having some deliberation about whether to go or not because the weather was bad. I thought they'd come off the turf, but luckily it was just cloudy out at Calder. I scored my first big hit in the third race at Belmont. It was a maiden special weight on the turf. I didn't like any of the horses with experience. I went a first-timer from Christophe Clement, ridden by top New York jockey Ramon Dominguez. LC Cinderella went off at 5-1, paid $13.20. I doubled the bet, got back $66. Then my best bet of the day was at Belmont, going a flat mile, a one-turn mile in the Grade 3 Westchester, a prep for the Met Mile coming up, to Honor and Serve. Everything I'd read about him said he was going to be dynamic. And then Mike Watchmaker and the Weekend Warrior seemed to indicate that he didn't like him, that he'd never run well fresh. But when I looked up at the board and there were a few scratches, I said, you know what, this guy, tons the best. 50 to win!
Here, Boys at Toscanova's been given his cue. He's now running along in third. Gubata Guska fourth toward the inside. And here they come now after Bold Deed. To Honor and Serve takes the lead and takes it willingly as the field turns for home. Boys at Toscanova's on the outside for the stretch drive now. 3/16 for the line. It is To Honor and Serve, and Jose Lascano is looking around for the competition. He's got none today. Boys at Toscanova's going to be second here, and To Honor and Serve. Oh, he did it so easily here. Belmont had him primed and polished today.
Oh, how'd they let that guy go off at 3-5 in a 4-horse field? I collected $80 and laughed all the way to the bank. And then I cashed on 2 late stakes races at Hollywood, the Mel Air Stakes. Will it be awesome? And then again with Mobilized. But here's the amazing part. On the day, I'd had 37 picks, and I cashed with 15 winners on the day. What was even more remarkable was that on Thursday, when I had Upperline and all those other winners, I was 12 for 21. What an amazing run on the last 2 days of stakes races and claiming races, allowance races, maiden races. It didn't make any difference. I was cashing on everything. So for the month of April, I had 118 selections, and thanks to my big run the last 2 days, 42 winners. That's a 35.6% hit rate. I was in the money, 61.8%, which is about normal. I had an ROI based upon a $2 bet of about $1.98, but if you looked at the actual money that I bet, I actually had an ROI of $2.13. It was a nice, profitable month for me, especially these last 2 days. Made almost $175 these last 2 days. I had an average payoff of $5.49. This week on Thursday, I'll be jumping on a plane headed to Louisville. Actually, I'm flying to Columbus, going to pick up my mom. Then we're going to the Kentucky Oaks on Friday and the 138th running of the Kentucky Derby on Saturday before heading back next Monday.